reason you are not successful is because you're waiting. Now, this point will be communicated in a fashion you've not experienced before. And that's what we're all about, providing unique solutions for life's problem, connecting seemingly unrelated concepts that takes you to the next level. I've said it countless times, information are vehicles that ferries you from point A to point B, from where you are to where you need to be, from your current level to the next level. So listen very intensely, because what you're about to hear will transform your life completely upon the application of tonight's teaching. In fact, this is one of the very few categories of content you can apply and see immediate results. You're not successful because you're waiting. You're waiting for something to happen before you believe XYZ. The only way I can get this girl is when I get this new device, or when I get XYZ, or when I get that and this. Especially in places like Africa, where your self-worth at the lowest echelon of society is directly linked to your mobile device. We have guys who would starve, work as hard as possible, go through the most inhumane process to get an iPhone. And finally, when they achieve that goal, you notice something very interesting. Either the girl they like is using something superior, or she has transited from the previous level, which forces them to go back to work, creating that cyclical process of chase and run. It's a very stupid way to live, to hinge your success or to hinge progress upon externality. That the only way I can get this girl, the only way I need to start this business is by getting capital. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but drafting the business plan can position you in the mental frame to see things that are invisible. I said it in my previous content. When you sustain the mindset of the person you would like to be, the kind of results would naturally gravitate towards you. So once you sustain, or once you put yourself in the mental frame of the person you would like to be, the kind of results that person have would naturally gravitate towards you. In fact, anybody who has tried to route progress through the path of manifestation understand this perfectly. Putting yourself in the mental frame of the person you would like to be achieves success faster than trying to wrestle with external things. The brain can't distinguish between reality and a thought. That's why you can think something now and cry physical tears. You can think something and cry physical tears. What if I lose this person? And you're tearing up. Please understand, the experience is far from happening, yet the effect is felt now. The brain is that impartial. I don't want to reduce all of life's problem to manifestation, but a huge chunk will be solved if you begin to position yourself and do the things you would naturally want to do or naturally do if the result was consistent. Why do you have to push up happiness? Why do you have to push up favor or business until you attain certain heights, until a certain kind of person comes into your life, until you have XYZ relationship. My friend, in fact, let me give you a thought experiment. I recall when, at the infancy of my career, I used to struggle with the pitch of my voice. That's why if you make reference to previous content, you notice very quickly. Sometimes I'm either too high or I'm either too low. There's no balance. Even worse, there was no variation of the different tonality. What makes a good communicator, as I said in my previous video, is the ability to vary tone. Know when to go high, know when to speak softly, know when to go on a rant, know how to use the pause. All of this are the elixir behind fine communication. So do well to check that video out. However, the moment I changed my mindset, the moment I changed my mental frame, and I truly believe I had the ability to combine all of those various concussions to produce an an edible meal in terms of content. My voice picked up. This is not something I do consciously, especially at this level. It happens unconsciously because I truly believe that's now my reality. So for as long as you try as much as possible to herald that experience from a conscious realm, it will be elusive. I've said it countlessly. You do not solve problems by solving problems. You solve problems by identifying the cause of the problem and providing solution. Then the problem melts as wax before sun. Way before I had success, I acted like the person I wanted to be. I would meet girls whom I used to consider out of my league. Those kind of foolish mindsets. It's a very poor way to think. In fact, approaching them validates that wrong consciousness that I have to do something. I have to go externally to prove the mindset wrong. What if they reject you? It becomes evidence that you're not who you say you are. Exactly. So this is one of the paramount reasons why you cannot place your self-worth, place who you are on something externality. It is foolish, it is barbaric, it is preposterous. You know it as well as I do. To place your mindset, to place your self-worth on a bitch who's attuned to her emotion, who cries when she feels like, laughs when she feels like, start an argument because she wants to. Women are basically overgrown adults. They are 7-year-olds who had the ability to go through life without consequences. Consequences is how the human species progresses, sir. Once you see the consequence of an action, you are most likely not to do it again. But as a woman, you can go through life, spoil people's things, call yourself girl boss, I deserve this and I deserve that, and guess what? Society might hand it to you. Imagine placing your self-worth on someone as chaotic as a lady. It's fucking asinine. So once you approach that lady and get rejected, it has no bearing on your self-worth whatsoever. She rejected you, okay? So I failed. It's far more beneficial than I didn't try. Most of you go with the consciousness of failure. Most of you currently have the consciousness of failure before you attempt a task, be it approaching lady or from a business standpoint, anything that connotes towards progress. You always approach with the mindset of failure, and it comes from this quote: those who do not expect are never disappointed. You failed, I knew it, and you were right. A failure would always be a failure. See failure as an event, not a person. As always, my friends, a pleasure speaking to you. I'll see you next one.